Hi Flosstube, this is Veronica with Night Stitch, and today I'm going to be sharing a game that I'm going to be playing. If you've been watching any of my Flosstubes from February, you'll remember, or you might remember, that I've been talking about wanting to play a game or start a game for Stitch Mania. I know it's only February, but I thought I would get this video posted just so that I have it for a reference. And I foresee like April being a little hectic because I have a retreat I'm going to in the beginning of April. So if I have one less video that I need to shoot that week, that'll make my life easier. So I'm gonna film this today and I'll be posting it when I normally post a Flosstube extra. The game that I'm going to play that I've been very vague about is Monopoly. So I have this Star Wars Monopoly that I've had for a long time, and I played it a few times. I've only really played it with my husband and me because we don't have any other people living in the house with us, and he doesn't really like Monopoly that much. So when I saw Jen the Caffeinated Crafter, hi Jen, start playing Monopoly on her channel, it gave me the idea to be like, oh, that's something I could use my board for, so it won't just sit there collecting dust. So I'm gonna do that, and I'll go into details more about the Stitch Mania part later when I actually do Stitch Mania. But the basics that I'll tell you here are that the last time I did Stitch Mania in 2018, I started a bunch of things. So I did the traditional 15 starts in 15 days in May, which was fine. But then I just like never worked on those whips, or at least I didn't really work on them in a significant way. So it just gave me a bunch more starts for like no reason. So this year I wanted to do this Monopoly game and attach it to my Stitch Mania so that I would actually work on those projects. Now, I feel like with the way I'm doing my Flosstubes now, where I pull whips every week and rotate them, like I'll pull 5 and then work on them, and then the week after, or the next week, I'll pull 5 different whips. So I don't think that I would have that problem for this Stitch Mania, but this Monopoly sounded really fun. So I finally figured out some of the things that I want to do, like how I want to play it. So I thought I would share those with you here. And the closer it gets to May, I will like be more detailed about it, because I don't know what projects I'm doing yet and stuff like that. But I do know they're all going to be new starts because it's Stitch Mania. So the basic things are, I'm going to play with 4 players, as in 4 tokens. I'm only going to use 1 token from my Star Wars board, and the other 3 are going to be a combination of 2 ornaments that I have and an action figure. So those are going to be my 4 tokens. I'm going to attach the projects to the tokens. So each token is going to have 5 projects assigned to it for a total of 20 projects. So I'm going to be starting 20 new things in May. So the way I did it was that each of the 5 whips or projects, I wrote whips because eventually they will become whips, and so I'm going to use whips / projects interchangeably during the video, but I'm talking about the same thing. So, you know, in Monopoly there are 5 different categories of things on the board. So there's go, there's free parking, I guess I could add visiting jail in that one. That's one category of like spaces you can land on, because they don't really do anything other than you collect stuff. When you pass go, you collect 200, and that's really all that happens. So those are the 3 spaces that don't really quote unquote do anything in Monopoly. So they're all in one category. So that's number 1. Then number 2 is cards. So I have Jedi and Sith cards because it's Star Wars, instead of community chest and chance. So one project will be assigned to number 2, which is cards. Number 3 is properties. So anytime the player lands on a property, whip number 3 will get worked on. Number 4 is utilities, and then number 5 is taxes. So I'll explain this a little bit more here. So when a token lands on a space, I'm going to look at the space, see what category it is, and then decide which whip I put stitches on. And I'm going to play a round of Monopoly, 1 or 2 rounds around the board after this. Like I'll insert a clip, and then so you can kind of see what I'm going to be doing. But okay, I have notes here that I wrote down so I wouldn't forget stuff. When a player passes go, the go project will get worked on. Same thing for if the player lands on free parking, project 1, which is the go, free parking, and visiting jail, will get worked on. Okay, so every project is going to start off with 50 stitches. So when they land on something and I'll find what category it is, I'll put 50 stitches on that project. My goals are going to be indefinite. So I'm going to play every week, but I'm not going to hold myself to I need to finish these stitches before next week, because I just don't care that much, and I don't really do that anyway with anything else. So I'm gonna keep my goals indefinite like I do for everything else. So I will be playing every week, so if you wanted to play, you could, because there will be something new every week. I'm also gonna do a thing where stitches can be stacked. So like if I don't work on the project for the week because I didn't get to it, then I'll keep that amount of stitches there, and then if the player lands on something where that whip is called again, then I'll just add another 50 stitches to it. So that's why it's only 50 stitches, because I was gonna add stuff, like add 50 stitches more, so then I wouldn't overwhelm myself if the stitch count was too high. So my goal is to, work on a little bit of everything every week. So ideally I would get all of this done before the next week, but I realize that if I do, there's a potential that I would have 4 or 5 extra whips in addition to the whips that I already have for the week. So that's why I'm doing the stacked stitches. I did give myself a maximum amount of stacked stitches. So once a project hits 1,000 stacked stitches because I didn't get to it, then I will pull out of the cocktail shaker a new project, and then I'll throw that onto the board in place of the project that hit the max of 1,000. And I'll still work on the project that needs the 1,000 stitches, but for anything that the player lands on while the old whip has reached its max, the new stitches will get put on the new whip. That'll probably be more clear once I play, like actually start playing in May. But that for now, that's the best way I can explain what I'm doing with that. So the reason I did that is because I'm anticipating that sometimes the probability of something getting landed on a lot is high. So sometimes, you know, you go to jail all the time. Like my husband, when he plays Monopoly, which is why he doesn't like it that much, he rolls doubles a lot, so he always ends up in jail. Or he'll land on the go to jail spot and go to jail. And it's just like obnoxious. So you know how that is. Sometimes you roll and you always land on the same thing. And because I can't work on the same thing for more than like a day and a half, if I had to work on the same thing over and over, it would make me crazy. So to prevent that, that's why I assigned whips to the tokens instead of the properties. Another example of when I thought stacking might happen is when a player rolls doubles. So, say a token rolled a double, landed on a property. That means that the property whip assigned to that token would get worked on. Then, if the player rolls again and lands on another property, it doesn't matter that it's a different property, but just the fact that it is a property means that same whip would get worked on. So that's why I'm also stacking stitches, because the same whip got pulled again technically. So okay, so the cards, I'm just going to use them as they came with the game, and then I'll see if I like that. And if I don't, then I'll change it. If I do, then I'll just keep it. For the jail is slightly different. So I don't want to have a piece assigned to jail because I think that I would have that problem where if it keeps getting called, it would make me crazy. So what I'm going to do with jail is I will work on any project in the game that has backstitch charted. Now that doesn't mean that I have to work on the backstitch when somebody lands in jail, but it does mean that any project that has backstitch charted will get worked on. That way I'll get like one step closer to having to do the backstitch. So I feel like that's punishment enough. So of course, if I'm at a point in the project where there is backstitch, then I can work on it when the person is in jail. But that way, if I have like 3 people in jail, that all that means is that I'll have to find 3 different projects that are in the Monopoly game that have backstitch that I can work on. Alright, I think that is all the explanation that I have right now, so I'm going to set up the game board and then I'll be back. So I have my board set up and I've got 4 tokens here. These are not the things I'm going to be playing with, but I'm not actually playing for my game right now, so I'm just going to use the tokens in the game. So using Darth Maul, Yoda, Luke Skywalker, and Darth Vader. I'll have Yoda go first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So Yoda landed on Hoth, which is a property. So the way that works is Yoda's property whip, which is number 3, will get 50 stitches. Luke is gonna go next. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so Luke landed on Hoth, which Yoda already bought. So Luke has to pay rent to Yoda. But because he landed on a property, number 3 for Luke gets 50 stitches, and that's how he'll pay rent to Yoda. So that's why I assigned whips to tokens, because it just made my life easier as far as which project I should work on when somebody lands on somebody else's space. And then I'm gonna have Darth Maul. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I'll count like when I actually do this, I'll count every time, but I just realized I didn't count for the first 2. So Darth Maul landed on Bespin, which is a property. So his number 3 will get 50 stitches. So now I have 3 different projects I can work on that all have 50 stitches. So Darth Vader rolled 2, 1, 2. He got a Jedi card. So I'm going to show you an example of how I'm going to do the cards. So the card says, win at high stakes chance cubes, collect 100 Republic credits, which obviously I don't have money going in this game. So what it says on the card, unless it tells me to advance to a space or buy something, usually won't matter. So what I'm gonna do is I've got Darth Vader landed on a card space. So that's a number 2 whip. So his number 2 whip will get 50 stitches. And then this just goes under the pile. So I'm going to play another round so we can see some more of what... So he rolled double, so he's going to go again. So actually this is still the first round because his turn isn't over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So Darth Vader landed on Endor. Which is project number 3. So his project number 3 will get 50 stitches. So this is round 2 because everybody's turn is over. 8. So Yoda. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So Yoda landed on Utapau. Which is a property. So number 3 for Yoda would get 50 stitches. Now, if I hadn't finished this assignment of 50 stitches for Yoda, this would add another 50 stitches. So then it would be 100 stitches that I would need to do on whip 3, which is where the stacking comes in. 4. So Luke, 1, 2, 3, 4. Luke landed on the Republic assault ship, which is a property because that's the railroad. So number 3 would get 50 stitches. So again, Luke's got number 3 twice, so the stacking stitches will happen there. So Luke rolled doubles. 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So Luke landed on Ord Mantell, which is another property. So then his number 3 now has 150 stitches. If I hadn't done any stitches on it since the last time. But this would be round 1, so this is like week 1. So say I finished all of this. So week 2, Luke rolled doubles, which got him to land on properties twice. So then I would still have to stack stitches on his whip. Darth Maul rolled a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He landed on Kashyyyk, which nobody owns yet. Seems I'm getting a lot of properties, so the properties are gonna have 100 stitches on them, because that happened in Darth Maul too. If I hadn't done these stitches yet. Darth Vader, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then same thing. So and like when I play this for real with I say with you guys, but I'm like, if you want to play, I don't know if anybody's gonna want to play with me or not, but I'm just saying it in case you do. But I'm not expecting you to, obviously. This is just for fun. For me to be able to work on my Stitch Mania things, because I just ignore things if I don't kind of give myself a reason to work on them. So yeah, this would be a lot of properties in this, but anyway, that's how it would play. And I'm gonna write stuff down every week too, so that I'll know what's going on, and then so I can also show you guys in my video what I do. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna say goodbye here without going back in front of the camera, because I'll have to move the tripod and everything again, and you guys can hear me. So thank you for watching, liking, subscribing, and commenting, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.